That same February 1903, British expedition against Tifi people. By October 16, 1905, British partitioning of Bengal, India. By February 26, 1906, amalgamation of Lagos Colony and southern Nigeria under Governor Walter Egerton. By February 1906, that same February 1906, September 1906, Frederick Lugard resigned as High Commissioner of Northern Nigeria. That same September 1906, oil exploration begins in southern Nigeria. How many of you remember when they started talking about 1957? Oil was discovered in Oloibiri. You see this history, you are going to know where that oil exploration started in Nigeria. And I can tell you, even though it is not Oloibiri. History, but let's continue, Sha. September 1906, oil exploration begins in southern Nigeria. By November 1908, oil production began in southern Nigeria. By 1911, November, publication of E.D. Morel's Nigeria, Its People and Its Problems. By May 1912, Frederick Lugard recalled to effect amalgamation of southern Nigeria and northern Nigeria. By January 1st, 1914, the amalgamation of the northern and the southern protectorate of Nigeria. January 18, 1914, World War I ends. By September 1, 1914, Lugard revokes Egba independence and amalgamates Egba with Nigeria. By January 8, 1918, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed his 14-point and the creation of the League of Nations. By January 13, 1918, Egba and Owu War against British rule begins. By January 22, 1918, British defeat of Egba and Owu. By November 1918, World War I ends. By January 28, 1918, Versailles Treaty imposing war reparation on Germany. On August 8, 1919, the call and retirement of Frederick Lugard as Governor General of Nigeria. August 8, 1919 also, Hugh Clifford becomes Governor of Nigeria. In that same August 1922, Clifford Constitution. 1923, Herbert Macaulay forms Nigeria National Democratic Party, NNDP, the first political party in Nigeria. In 1923, Frederick Lugard publishes the Dual Mandate. In 1923, Adolf Hitler published Mein Kampf. By November 13, 1925, Graham Thompson becomes governor of Nigeria. In 1929, the Great Depression begins. December 1929, British massacre of protesting women in eastern Nigeria. January 17, 1931, Ronald Cameron becomes governor of Nigeria. March 4, 1933, Nnamdi Azikiwe's New Year resolution. August 2, 1934, Adolf Hitler becomes Chancellor of Nazi Germany. November 1934, Azikiwe completes his tour of eastern Nigeria. November 1, 1935, Bernard Bodilon becomes governor of Nigeria. 1937, Bodilon publishes his memorandum on the future political development of Nigeria. In July 1937, Azikiwe returns to Nigeria from Ghana and launches West African Pilot newspaper. October 1938, Nigerian youth movement wins Lagos election. Oh dear, Nigerian youth movement against the and it's one election in Lagos. Interesting. April 1, 1939, Odilon partitions southern Nigeria. September 1939, World War II begins. May 10, 1940, Winston Churchill becomes British Prime Minister. August 14, 1941, USA President Roosevelt and British Prime Minister Churchill issued the Atlantic Charter. And December 1941, USA enters World War II against Nazi Germany. And in 1942, H.O. Davis resigns from Nigeria Youth Movement. December 1943, Arthur Richard becomes governor of Nigeria. 1943, formation of Igbo State Union. 1944, Azikiwe establishes National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, NCNC. April 12, 1945, US President Roosevelt dies. May 7, 1945, World War II ends. June 1945, general strike. July 26, 1945, Clement Attlee becomes British Prime Minister. January 1, 1946, Richard Constitution formalizing 3 regions published and regional elections organized. May 1946, NCNC tour of Nigeria. January 1947, Richard Constitution comes into effect. June 1947, June 1947, NCNC tour of Nigeria, NCNC delegation to London. August 15, 1947, India granted independence. February 5, 1948, John Macpherson becomes Nigeria governor. May 14, 1948, creation of the State of Israel. May 1948, Nigerianization Commission established. June 1948, Obafemi Awolowo forms Egbe Omo Oduduwa. November 18, 1948, that's 1949 rather, Eva Valley Massacre in Enugu. January 1950, National Conference held in Ibadan. April 1950, Zikist movement outlawed. June 29, 1951. November 1951, but it's going to be Macpherson now. So yes, June 29, 1951, Macpherson Constitution. March 21, 1951, Awolowo forms Action Group as a political party. October 1, 1951, Northern People's Congress formed as a political party. October 26, 1951, Winston Churchill returned as British Prime Minister. November 1951, Regional Assembly elections. January 29, 1952, first sitting of the new House of Representatives. That same 1952, first census. July 23rd, 1952, Colonel Abdul Nasser staged military coup in Egypt. January 20, 1953, Dwight Eisenhower becomes President of the United States of America. March 31, 1953, Action Group motion demanding self-governance in 1956. May 1953, Araba riots and killings in Kano. May 1953 as well, London Constitutional Conference. October 1, 1954, Itutin Constitution. October 1, 1954, Southern Cameroon becomes a separate region within Southern Nigeria. November 1954, elections to Federal House of Representatives. April 6, 1955, Anthony Eden becomes British Prime Minister. June 15, 1955, James Robertson becomes Governor General of Nigeria. December 1955, Aaron Smith comes to Nigeria. January 1956, Queen Elizabeth II visits Nigeria. May 1956, Western Region elections. July 26, 1956, Nasir nationalizes Suez Canal. October 27, 1956, Israel invades Egypt. Six-day Arab-Israeli war begins, and British and France occupy the Canal Zone. November 1956, Northern Region elections. November 6, 1956, ceasefire in Arab-Israeli war. December 26, 1956, last British troop retire from the Canal Zone. January 1957, first assaulting reports into African Continental Bank published. January 10, 1957, Harold Macmillan becomes British Prime Minister. March 1957, Eastern Region and Southern Cameroon elections. March 7, 1957, Ghana granted independence. September 29, 1957, Lancaster House Constitutional Conference. August 8, 1957, Western and Eastern regions become self-governing. August 8, 1957, Tafawa Balewa appointed to office of Prime Minister. July 1958, Willink Commission report published. March 1959, Northern region becomes self-governing. December 1959, independence election. December 1959, Harold Macmillan delivers Wind of Change speech in South Africa. August 1960, TV's uprising. October 1, 1960, Nigeria granted independence. October 1, 1960, NCP-NCNC alliance government take office with Balewa as Prime Minister. November 16, 1960, Nnamdi Azikiwe replaces James Robinson as Governor General of Nigeria. December 14, 1960, United Nations Resolution 1514 passed, proclaiming the end of colonialism. February 1961, plebiscites in northern and southern Cameroon. February 1962, census. May 29, 1962, state of emergency declared in western Nigeria. October 1, 1963, Nigeria becomes a republic. October 1, 1963, Nnamdi Azikiwe becomes president of Nigeria. July 1964, Awolowo jailed on treason charges. February 1965, Major General Welby Everard replaced as Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Army by Thomas Aguiyi Ironsi. October 1965, Regional Assembly elections. January 15, 1966, first military coup. February 23, 1966, declaration of Niger Delta Republic. May 24, 1966, proclamation of Unification Decree number 34, creating United Nigeria. May 29, 1966, first round of programs against Igbos in northern Nigeria. I'll take a tea break and I'll say something about that. Do you know that May 29, that the military chose for the Democracy Day in Nigeria, where they transfer from one government to another in Nigeria, is actually a celebrated day of program against the Igbos in northern Nigeria. It was the day, you know what is called a program? It's a day where everything Igbo or anything Igbo to be destroyed, and they killed and killed. Listen to that again. Oh, that's part of your history. May 29, 1966. First round of programs against Igbos. 2 months later, Ironsi was taken and killed, and in a revenge coup. So the first reaction to killing the Igbos and being blamed for the coup. I'm expecting a copy of that book, Why We Struck. Everyone who participated in this coup in Nigeria. I'm expecting the book in the next 48 hours. finish this first. Read that. Okay. So May 29, 1966 was an Igbo program day. But the Fulani Sharia North, they chose that day as the day that will remain indelible. In, like, you know what I mean? Instead of you reading about May 29 as the day they killed Igbos in northern Nigeria, you only remember May 29 as the day military handed over power to civilians. Remember that, but I'll continue. History. July 29, 1966, counter coup and second round of pogrom against Igbos in northern Nigeria. August 3rd, 1966, Awolowo and Enahoro released from prison. July 29, 1966, third round of pogroms against Igbos in northern Nigeria. January 1967, Aburi Accord. May 27, 1967, decree dividing Nigeria into 12 states. May 30, 1967, declaration of Biafra. July 1967, Biafra War begins. August 27, 1969, British House of Commons debate on Biafra. May 30, 1969, American student Bruce Mayrock self-immolates in protest against Biafra War. January 11, 1970, Colonel Ojukwu escapes from Biafra. January 15, 1970, Biafra surrender. October 6, 1973, Arab-Israeli war and onset of oil boom. July 29, 1975, Major General Gowon overthrown in a military coup by Muritala Ahmed. February 13, 1976, Muritala Muhammad assassinated and Olusegun Obasanjo becomes military ruler. That same 1976, decision taken to move Nigeria capital from Lagos to Abuja. 1979, new constitution dividing Nigeria into 19 states and replacing parliamentary system with presidential system. Obasanjo did that. October 1979, return to civilian rule with Shehu Shagari as president. In 1983, new presidential election returned Shagari to power. December 31, 1983, Shagari government overthrown by military coup and General Buhari becomes military ruler. August 27, 1985, Buhari overthrown in a military coup by General Ibrahim Babangida. April 22nd, 1990, failed coup by Major Gideon Oka. June 12, 1993, presidential elections. June 23rd, 1993, Babangida announces election results. August 26, 1993, Babangida forced aside and Ernest Shonekan appointed interim president. November 18, 1993, General Sani Abacha removes Shonekan from power. May 1994, the National Democratic Coalition ADECO formed. June 23rd, 1994, Moshood Abiola declared himself winner of the aborted June 12 elections and president and is jailed. June 1994, Abacha convenes National Constitutional Conference. By November 10, 1995, Abacha regime hangs Ogun activist Ken Saro-Wiwa. June 4, 1996, Abiola's wife, Kudirat Abiola, assassinated. June 8, 1998, Abacha dies in office. July 7, 1998, Abiola dies in prison. And 1999, national elections. May 29, 1999, General Olusegun Obasanjo becomes president. October 26, 1999, Governor of Zamfara in northern Nigeria announces plan to enforce Sharia criminal law. November 20, 1999, Obasanjo government attacks and destroys Odi town in southern Nigeria. November 23, 2002, is World Pageant riot and killings in Kaduna. March 2003, US and British government launch invasion of Iraq. May 29, 2003, Obasanjo returned to power for second term as president. May 29, 2007, Umaru Yar'Adua becomes president. November 23, 2009, Goodluck Jonathan takes over from Yar'Adua as president. November 23, 2011, Goodluck Jonathan becomes president after winning presidential elections. May 2013, Operation Restore Order launched against Boko Haram. March 17, 2014, Goodluck Jonathan convenes National Conference Dialogue. April 14, 2014, announcement of Boko Haram kidnap of Chibok girls. And that is now us waiting for the time to read first chapter. Slavery. Slavery's end. Organizations begin. So that's what we're going to take on the next time. And, which is going to be like the proper reading. Let's call this one, call this particular one intro into the book, A Fatherless People. And this is going to touch on a lot of things. And if you should have the time, I'm going to be reading them in the afternoon. So I'm going to be waiting later. It as well. Here you get history that they do not want you to know. How has it been so easy? Manipulating generation after generation in order to keep existing in a contraption that is more or less like put together to work against them. Give me a second. Something I'm checking. My audio, my microphone, right? A little bit dodgy sometimes because it has to be charged as well. Okay, so thank you so much. Let me know if you think this is going to be an interesting sort of moment. That's where you are more than happy. I mean, out of as well.
Make sure you have enough. Make sure you have enough.
Can I trust this one?
I do have a caller.
Hello, man.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, my Ogun, very clearly.
Loud and clear. Okay, great, Baba. How are you?
Very good, my Ogun. This is Olu from Canada.
Saulu, how are you today?
How are you? Thank you for the readout. Really do appreciate it. I enjoy it.
So I haven't really delved into it. We soon delve into all of it.
Yeah, I realized that, and you see, this is the power of technology. Some of these stories and things we've seen that we should have learned in our history, I mean, the social studies that they abolished, we seem to be, I mean, learning about them now, and I mean, thank God for the works that people like you are doing, and other bloggers, talking about our history, Yoruba history, our individual histories in that place called Nigeria. I mean, I really do appreciate it. I wish that the Hausa people too can, more of them like that, can come out and talk about their histories. And I mean, if all ethnic groups, then we will begin to appreciate each other better,
I respect ourselves for, and we know who
that's right.
So this
that's right.
This identity crisis, you really need to do something. That's why you see charlatans.
That's right.
Telling them, "Oh, your partner is from the side." Really.
That's right. That's right. I mean, even in America, there's a lot we can learn from even America, especially the blacks, when they, because they underwent a particular, I mean, they got their freedom in kind of stages. When those blacks, when they even took them from Africa to America, I was watching a documentary. They would wrap clothes around their eyes so that when they get to America and they want to run away, they're not able to trace their path back to their roots. That was how far this thing went. And eventually when they got freedom, you still had stages where they were told you can't sleep in the same hotel with a white guy. You can't be in the same restaurant with a white guy. You can't be in the same school bus. You can't be in the same school. Your kids can't be in the same school. And then their forefathers fought for freedom for these black people, and they seem to have equality. And at a point, even the whites, they had to apologize. You know, the current had to apologize.
Like, sorry, right.
For what their forefathers did, and even today you would see some descendants of slaves and descendants of slave owners where they are bringing them together. I mean, trying to repair bring that unity and repair the damage that was done. But we are ethnic groups, and some people want to act like we are conquered. They still want to keep us conquered, keep other minority groups in that place conquered, when we can all live on the same basis of equality, fairness, and justice, and still provide. I mean, I don't get it. I don't really get it. I don't know why. I mean, and people who claim
so embedded in us, the way that it's not greed or selfishness, where we are more loyal to family than loyal to country or neighbor, like he put it earlier, right? Or,
yes,
it's a shame, Baba, honestly. Because I mean, why
I
do you
just
believe that what we have done to ourselves, during the colonization, right? So it's
yes,
you have
and I yes, and I'm so happy that our generation, our current generation, and the younger ones are fighting back. They're using technology. We're using online connection to educate ourselves and fight back this demon that has possessed that country. And
so many misinformation, misrepresentations, and so many people have kind of accepted, since they have no alternative path. They kind of have accepted them. We need to change some of those things. Some of what they have told our people is what they believe, right? And they've concluded
right.
There's no point in trying to change it, since they said that's what we have to change it.
And I hope more of this can continue, and I'm sure someday we will overcome. I mean, if the likes of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, no, they were black. It wasn't even their land, but they kind of believe that, you know what, you guys brought us from our original home to this place. And you can't treat us like we are less human than you. And they fought and they achieved it. So how much more people who live on their own land, their own heritage? I mean, like, Nigerians have got to think. They've got to think. Thank you again, Mary.
That's just how you too can be part of it. It's usually the meeting. Hello there. Huh?
Hello, my Ogun General. Good morning.
The African Wahala. How are you today?
I am doing very well.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me begin my day with good information. It helped me refresh my information on a lot of things, and I learned a lot. I think this content is absolutely great. The thing is, this type of content might not be financially rewarding, because people would rather listen to comedy and stuff that makes them laugh. People just want to drown their sorrows. But this type of content is much more important, and it is timeless. This is stuff that people would refer to in the next 30 years, 50 years. And we don't have a choice, because a lot of us are in a position where we are not proud of our nation. I mean, okay, then let me rephrase. We're not proud of our country because there is a difference between a nation and a country. And it's the same way, like the previous caller said, Mr. Olu said, he was saying stuff about African Americans. You find a lot of those African Americans today, they don't even consider themselves as Africans. They would rather say that they are Native Americans. Yeah. You know, it's because nobody wants to be with the losing team. The only reason, it's a psychological thing. The only reason why these people don't want to associate with Africa is because, for the most part, Africa is on the losing team, unfortunately. And that's the same way that we